Hey, it's Kyle, and today I'll be reviewing The Postman by David Brin. Many of you might be familiar with The Postman from the movie from the 1990s starring Kevin Costner. I know that's how I was first introduced to this story. In fact, it was a long time after I saw the movie before I found out it was actually based on a book. I'm probably in the minority that I actually enjoyed the movie. I know The Postman is one of those movies that is very much maligned by most people. I do acknowledge the movie was way too long. They probably could have trimmed 30 or 40 minutes off of it. It would have been a better movie. But I still enjoyed the movie more than most people did. So when I did find out it was based on a book, I was like, well, I really want to read that at some point, because I found the premise behind the movie very interesting. And I was interested to see how that played out in the book. Usually books are able to delve into topics a little bit more detailed than movies because, the time constraint. And boy, am I glad about this book. I really enjoyed it. And if you've seen the movie, you don't have to worry about, well, I already know what the plot's going to be like, because the movie and the book are different enough that it's really not a plot spoiler to see the movie first. The book has a very interesting sci-fi element in it that the movie that definitely takes in a different direction. And I can see why the movie chose not to follow the sci-fi path, because a few of the elements of the sci-fi storyline, I'm not sure it would have transitioned very well to the movie screen. So I understand the choice they made. But the book is really, really interesting. So if you're not familiar with The Postman at all, the basic storyline is it's a dystopian novel. It's set in the United States, specifically in the Pacific Northwest. And the character you're following is kind of a straggler. He just wanders from town to town trying to make a living. There's no centralized government anymore. The United States has collapsed. Basically, each town kind of governs itself, and it's very subsistence living. People are just barely getting by. There's bandits and robbers on the road, so it's dangerous to be kind of out and about just wandering. But this is where our main character is at. And during the course of his struggle to survive, he happens upon the old wrecked vehicle of a U.S. Postal Service truck. And in it, he realizes this truck hasn't really been discovered since the crash. The driver's still there, basically skeletal remains, wearing the postman's uniform. There's all this undelivered mail from 20, 30 years ago. And probably because his clothes is in really bad shape, and also because he has a little bit of an idea of how he could possibly turn this to his advantage, he assumes the identity of the postman. Now, at this point, this is where the movie and the book differ. The movie version of the character goes one way, book character goes a different way. But basically, in both, he assumes the identity of the postman eventually, and it helps bring hope to this very much dystopian world. And it's interesting to see how this book shows how a small little bit of hope can really change society in a dramatic fashion. More than this character ever anticipated. He was just trying to survive, and this one little element of hope that he introduces starts a avalanche of events that basically begins to transform this world. It's a very interesting book. If you enjoy dystopian novels, I think you'll really enjoy The Postman. Be it, YA dystopian or more stuff like, 1984 or Fahrenheit 451. The Postman is really very much a classic, in my opinion, in this dystopian genre. So I'd strongly encourage you to check The Postman out by David Brin. If you haven't seen the movie by Kevin Costner, I'd encourage you to check that out as well. Even though I know most people hate the movie, I still think it's worth a watch. So I hope you'll read or watch The Postman. Hopefully do both. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you the next time.